Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Williamson County Coaches Preview Show. I'm Jack Daniels, your host, and with me for the first half of tonight's game is the head girls basketball coaches at Centennial High School, Coach Hill, and the head girls coach at Independence, Coach White. Welcome, coaches.
Hello.
Thank you.
Coach Hill, you're with us for the first time. You're new to the county, so let's back up to where you went to high school at and where you grew up at and where you've been coaching at over the last few years.
Well, I'm originally from Indiana. I went to high school at a small high school in south central Indiana called Eastern High School, and graduated from Indiana University. And most of my coaching experience comes at the college level. Most recently at Lambeth University in Jackson. Then I spent a couple of years at Milan High School before having the privilege of coming to Williamson County and coaching at Centennial.
Okay, now I know Lambeth is no longer
Right.
there anymore. I think Memphis took it over or something?
Yeah, it's actually the University of Memphis at Lambeth. They do not have athletics, so us coaches had to find something else to do.
I understand. Well, let's talk about your assistant coaches. Who's helping you this year?
Lauren Wasson is my assistant. She played high school at Wilson Central. I believe won a couple of state championships as a player there. And then played collegiately at Trevecca Nazarene for Gary Vanetta.
Okay. Well, let's start with the Lady Cougars. Just kind of start at the very beginning of the season and catch us up on how you guys have been doing through the course of the year.
Well, we started the year at 4-1 at one point, 7-4 at other points, and really since Christmas have struggled a little bit in district play. We've played some teams tough, but really haven't quite got over the hump in district play yet. We've lost a tough one with Summit. We lost a couple close games in the process, but kids are playing hard. I like the direction that we're going. I feel like every game that we play, we have a chance to win, and we're just going to keep working hard and keep our head down and look to the next game on the schedule and try to get that one.
Okay. Coach White, let's talk about last Friday night. You guys were on the special game of the week. Let's back up to that Summit game and tell us about that game.
Well, it turned out great for us. Anytime Independence and Summit play, the atmosphere is incredible. I had a full gym, loud, so it was a lot of fun, very competitive. We started out playing hard, just couldn't knock down shots early. I think we were down one at halftime. Came out in the third and found some offensive flow. Really played some good defense in the second half and pulled away to a double-digit win. So it was a good win for us.
Mm-hmm. So who were your leading scorers that night? Do you remember?
I think Pierce, we had 2 or 3 in double digits. Pierce had, I think, 25 maybe, and Croft 16-ish. I'm really bad about looking at individual scores. It's kind of like as long as we score more than the other team, I'm happy. And then Wharton and Galden both were up maybe around 9 or 10 points apiece. So yeah, it was good balance. Yeah, it was a high-scoring game and good and balanced. So yeah, it was a good night.
Okay. Well, let's kind of back up to this past Tuesday night. Had another district game. Let's talk about that one a little bit.
Well, Brentwood came in Tuesday night, and if we could erase the first quarter, I'd probably be a lot happier.
Okay.
No, Brentwood came out really playing tournament-ready basketball. A lot of respect for Coach Sigenthaler and his team. They came out and shot the lights out. They shot like 80% in the first half. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But jumped on us early. Kind of set the tone in the first quarter. If we can erase that, then we're competitive the rest of the game. But so we just had to go back to work on Wednesday and, get ready for Centennial tonight and can't worry about Tuesday.
All right. Well, I know, Brentwood had suffered the first loss in the district when Dixon County upset them. They were probably not in a real good mood.
Right. Yeah. Well, you could tell they came in coming off an overtime loss in first quarter. They were ready to play.
Well, Coach, let's back up to this past Tuesday night and tell us a little bit about that game, I think, with the Raptors.
Yeah, we were on the road at Ravenwood on Tuesday and really got a good start. led the majority of the first quarter, ended up being tied at the end of one. Just did not come out and play well in the second quarter. Got down, I believe, 7 at the half. Ended up losing that game by a 47-35 score. Just did not make plays down the stretch. We were led in scoring by Jordan Johnson and Shay Morton, our 2 senior leaders, and turnovers hurt us in that basketball game, as well as we gave up a few too many offensive putbacks.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned a couple of your players. Let's kind of go back at what your starting lineup looks like, 1 through 5, on what positions they play for you and what year those kids are for you.
Well, we've kind of, based on injuries, had to shuffle our lineup and play some different lineups. We've been starting a freshman at the point guard with Samantha Salas. We've been starting Daisha Favors, a junior, at the 2. We've been starting Delaney DeStefano, a sophomore, at the 3 position, and then kind of 4-5 combo with Shay Morton and Jordan Johnson on the interior. The thing about Jordan that gives us some great versatility is she can step out, handle it, shoot it from the perimeter, as well as take you inside or take you off the bounce. So she's really a very versatile kid for us, and that's been our lineup for the last 6 or 7 games. Earlier, when Shay Morton was hurt for about a month, we started another freshman in Hannah Holloway, who's a very promising big kid for us, and we're very excited about her. So, we've played a lot of different lineups just based on who's healthy, mm-hmm. and sometimes based on our opponent. If we're playing against a team that starts 4 guards and a big, we're going to have to start 4 guards and a post player. Or if we're playing against a team that starts 3 bigs and 2 perimeter kids, and we got to sometimes mix and match our lineup to match their lineup. So much of the game is about matchups, mm-hmm. and how you match up with the other team. So sometimes our lineup has varied as a result of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's kind of go, just how many total girls you have in your program, and tell us a little bit about how your junior varsity girls have been doing also this year.
We have 18 kids in the program. Our JV has been competitive. I do not know their record off the top of my head. They've been competitive in about every game. They're not going to be as strong as maybe they could be, because we're playing a lot of the young kids on the varsity level. Right. With two freshmen getting significant varsity minutes, and really 3 sophomores getting significantly varsity minutes. Oftentimes our JV ends up being kind of a potpourri of kids, sure. From freshman through junior, really. So mm-hmm. Really like the direction that they're going. So many of our kids just need playing experience and playing time and some court time, and we hope that we're doing that with the JV program.
Mm-hmm. Do they still have that 6-quarter rule in basketball?
No.
They don't? So a kid could play 4 quarters in the JV game and play 4 quarters in the varsity game that night?
They dropped that 6-quarter rule a long time
I've been out of it a long time, Coach.
Get back in it.
I can't keep up with all my basketball rule changes and everything.
They changed that so a kid can play as much as you want to play in a day.
Mm-hmm. Now, you guys don't have freshman girls, right?
Correct.
Right. And most of the teams in the area just don't have freshman basketball at all, except for maybe some boys teams in the area.
Yeah, I think most of the boys team have freshmen, mm-hmm. And I think maybe Franklin and Brentwood maybe had enough freshman girls to pick up a few games mm-hmm. here and there, but most of us just play our freshmen as JV.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach White, let's give us a scouting report on the Lady Cougars, what you're going to see tonight, what you got to stop, and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, Centennial's going to play hard, mm-hmm. and they did. They're going to play hard, and from the games that we've scouted, and even when we played them, you can jump on them, but they're not going to quit, not going to back down. No lead is safe. And Coach Hill already mentioned the Jordan kid is Johnson, Jordan mm-hmm. Johnson. She's so versatile that if they're having trouble handling the ball, she's going to go get it and bring it up. And if you've got a big girl on her, she's going to be a little quicker than most of your bigs, so she's going to take them off the dribble. Or you put a guard on her, then they're going to take her down low and post her up. So big thing is probably to keep the ball out of her hands and make some of those other players step up.
Okay. Coach Hill, give us a scouting report on Independence.
Well, you know, the key to that game for us is much like the key for a lot of our games. We've got to get good possessions. Oftentimes when we struggle, we are a 1, 2, maybe 3 passes and shoot the basketball. And, you know, we're going to try to get good possessions, break them down a little bit defensively. From a defensive standpoint, you know, they're obviously they're a guard-heavy ball club, so it's going to be difficult to press and get a lot of things done from a pressure perspective. But you know, we're just going to try to play hard-nosed man-to-man defense, and go to the glass hard. Send all 5 kids to the defensive glass and try to make sure we control the glass. But you know, the key for us all year has been getting good possessions, keeping our turnovers low, and making sure we get the right shot for the right kid. So that'll be our goal and objective.
Mm-hmm. Coach White, I believe we talked earlier, and you mentioned that the last time you played Centennial, you guys kind of went to the foul line quite a few times during that game.
We might have set a record. I'm not sure on what the state record is on free throws in a game, but there was quite a few fouls called. It was
So that means it's a physical
game.
game. You're looking for a physical game tonight?
Yeah, it was physical. I think, like you said, they're going to come at you man-to-man. We're probably going to come at you man-to-man. So, you know, I think last time it was like an hour and 45-minute game. It was a lengthy game.
Okay.
But,
all right.
we'll try
Coach
to
Hill,
cut back.
would you like to see the score be a higher scoring or lower scoring?
Well, you know, when we've had the most success, we've kept the game in the 40s.
Okay.
Low 50s is when we've had the most success. And, you know, I've always believed that defense and rebounding win consistently. So we try to stress getting after it defensively and doing a nice job on the glass. And, you know, even if your shot's not falling, you're not scoring well offensively, hopefully you'll play hard-nosed enough defense and control the glass to enough where, you know, you can stay in a basketball game. So, you know, we'd like to see, you know, mid-40s to mid-50s in the scoring.
Okay. Coach White, I told you I was going to probably ask you a couple of different questions when you came on the show here. So let's talk about multi-sports. In other words, how do you feel about your girls playing other sports?
You know, I don't really have a problem with it. My philosophy is this is probably the one time in their life that they can do kind of whatever they want to do, that they'll be able to play multi-sports. And I'm kind of old school where if you want to go, you know, soccer in the fall, basketball, softball, go for it, because we all know that as our bodies get older, they can't handle that kind of punishment anymore, and there's not that many opportunities.
Right.
It's tough. We don't have many multi-sport athletes at Independence, at least not on the girls. I think I had one play soccer, and that's it. So, but yeah, it's not, as long as it doesn't interfere with what we're doing, I'm okay.
Okay. Well, coaches, thank you for joining me for the first half. Good luck for tonight's game. It's at Centennial. Starts at 6 o'clock. I'm sure there's JV games going earlier, but best of luck. Best of luck in the district tournament.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you for joining us for the first half. We'll be back for the second half with the boys coaches.
Too many of Tennessee's students drop out of high school. If you ask them why, you'll probably hear they just can't keep up because they don't have the reading skills. Success in school is based on success in reading, and learning to read starts with hearing words. With young children, storybook reading, particularly family storybook reading, plays a special and important role.
Had a great, what's the last word?
Mom.
Good.
Have fun with reading. Read the directions on the box and bake a cake together. Create a scrapbook, write a family cookbook, or a newsletter.
That looks like you.
What about the triangle?
A triangle face.
Work with your child to cut coupons and make a grocery list. Write thank you notes to grandparents. Read a book about different occupations. Then ask your child what they would like to be when they grow up.
You could be, maybe. What about an eye doctor, just like your granddaddy?
My eye doctor is much more. He works with some glasses.
He does work with some glasses.
Don't underestimate the impact that reading can have on your child's future. Choose success. Choose reading. This Choose Success moment has been brought to you by the Middle Tennessee P16 Council. For more information about children and reading, contact your local school system.
Welcome back to the second half of today's show, and with me are the boys' head coaches at Centennial and at Independence. We have Coach Crutcher at Centennial and Coach Glass at Independence. Coach Crutcher, since it's new for you, buddy, I'm going to start with you and let you talk at the beginning of this thing. Start with where you grew up, where you went to high school, where you went to college, and where you've been coaching at over the last few years.
Well, I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and played at Chattanooga City High School. Went on to Cleveland State, then Lee University, and played at Lee. Was a two-time All-American at Lee University. Ended up going into coaching in Atlanta, Georgia, where I spent the majority of my coaching career over 25 years in Atlanta. My last stand in Atlanta was Stevenson High School.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This is your second year at Centennial?
Second year at Centennial.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Chattanooga City, is that still, they still have Chattanooga City?
Yes, they still have it. It's a performing arts school now. They have gotten rid of their athletics and everything, but they still staying now. They drama and art, music and plays and dance.
Mm-hmm. They did that with Riverside too, didn't they?
Riverside is arts and science now. It's a full production school now, but it's a magnet school.
Right. They don't have athletics there either?
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Goes back, I'm going to tell my age now back on this one, but a long time ago, Chattanooga Riverside used to be, the house in basketball.
Exactly.
We had Richard Fuqua and all the
Exactly.
boys back then. And matter of fact, I played with Fuqua at Oral Roberts University.
He was a great player.
Long time ago. Yeah, he was a great player. But
right.
yeah, and so now I guess Chattanooga Howard and well, they don't have Kirkman anymore, do they?
Don't have Kirkman anymore. Howard and Tyner and Brainerd are three horses,
okay.
I guess you would say, in Chattanooga now.
All right. Well, Coach, let's talk about your assistant coaches. Who's helping you right now?
I have Rhonda Foley, who works at Centennial, Jeremy Stevenson, who helped last year also as my lay coach, and Brandon Tennant. He's my new lay coach also.
Okay. Now, do you have a freshman team then?
Yes, Coach Foley coaches the freshman
he does the
team,
freshman.
and Jeremy and Brandon splits duty with JV.
Okay. Well, bring us up to date on how the Cougars have done, starting at the first year all the way up to where we're at right now.
Well, the Cougars, we started out pretty good, and we have been snake bit hit here lately a little bit. Playing everybody very tough, playing very competitive basketball. We minutes away from some success, but we got to limit turnovers and mistakes and just capitalize on moments and make some free throws and hit some easy baskets.
Okay. All right. Coach Glass, let's back up to last Friday night when Summit came over to your place to visit. Kind of give us a oversight of that game, and then we'll talk about Tuesday night's game next.
Well, anytime Independence and Summit plays, it's going to be a packed house. Give Coach Ladd and his team a lot of credit. They came in ready to play. It was a hard-fought game from the beginning to the end. We were able to, we got down early when they was able to regain our composure, to come back, take the lead. Summit fought back as well, so about the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, it was a one-possession game, and we were able to make some free throws down the end and put the game away.
Was it a high-scoring game, Coach? Y'all get to 70s, or did you keep it down in the 40s?
No, it was probably in the high 50s,
Okay.
high to mid 50s. It was, both teams really went at each other. I thought Summit kids made some great plays, and our kids came back and responded, and it was just both teams going back and forth at each other.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tuesday night you had to play Brentwood, which is leading the district. Tell us about that game.
Well, again, anytime you got Brentwood on the schedule, you got to bring your A+ game. They're a team that they don't make mistakes, and they force you to make mistakes. And we had a solid game plan going in. Got off to a slow start, but going into halftime, it was a 6-point game. Second half, it was kind of back and forth. We got down as much as 17. Our kids fought back and cut it to 6 points late in the fourth quarter, and to their credit, they made free throws to finish with a 9-point win.
Mm-hmm. You think that's probably a lot of their success, that they're pretty good at the free throw line, or are they just overall chemistry of their team?
Dennis, it's like a well-oiled machine, and when a machine breaks down, he just plugs in another part and they keep going. And to their credit, and he's been doing that ever since he's been coaching at Brentwood, he gets maximum effort and production out of his kids every possession, not just every game, but every possession. And that's been a formula of success for him. Yeah.
Well, Coach, let's get back to your team. Let's kind of start with who your starters are. You're kind of 1 through 5, and we talked about this. I'm going with the 1 being your point guard and 5 being your center. Okay, so kind of go down that and what year those kids are in, and give us your lineup.
Okay, well, we've had several changes at times because Brewer Atkinson was our starting point guard, but he's out with the high ankle sprain. It's his second injury. He had a hip injury earlier this season, so he was just fighting back from that. So we had to go with Josh Keller, who has been point guard, who was a senior. Well, Brewer's a junior, and Josh is a senior. He's our lone senior this year. He's the only senior we have. Followed by Kevon Prince, who he plays backup point behind Josh. And Jalen McLean is fourth, I guess you could say, freshman point guard who we have moved up from JV to help those dudes out.
Okay.
In the forward position, we have Tyrell Dotson, 2 guard. He's /2 guard, and he's probably our anchor of what we're doing, and has had good success. We have Drew Joyner, who's a freshman, also this year, who's plays in 2 and 3. We multiple position. Tracy Jenkins plays 1, 2, who's a sophomore. Travis Bass plays 2, 3, who's a sophomore. So that gives us our wing position. And then Brandon Smith has played in the center position, who's a junior. Rashawn McLemore, who's a sophomore, also plays in that position, and Daniel Draper, who's a sophomore. So
Sound like you're pretty young there, Coach.
we're very young, and that's part of our problem, and our turnovers and mistakes in different parts of the game is playing at this level of varsity basketball. When you play in the Independence and the Brentwoods and the Ravenwoods, you have to have a little bit more foundation than we have. But we battle and we play tough. We getting battle tested every night, so hopefully the tough games will pay off at the end before tournament time.
Now, was the Joyner kid a freshman, did you say?
He's a freshman.
Now, is that the type of kid that he's going to play a freshman game on a Thursday night, a JV game on Friday night, and a varsity game on Friday night?
Well,
he's that kid?
He's almost that kid. We'll play him in JV and varsity. We've relieved him of duties of playing freshman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he plays some JV minutes and then varsity minutes.
Okay.
Right.
Well, if I was a kid, I know me, I'd like to play a freshman game on Thursday night,
Right.
too. We'll have to go to practice.
Right.
Kind of thing. Coach Glass, let's talk a little bit about scouting report on the Cougars for tonight's game.
Well, they really force the tempo. They like to pressure the ball full court and create turnovers and get in an up-tempo game. And they got, all 5 guys, they're all hovering right around the 10-point average game as far as scoring. Mm-hmm. So you really can't just key on one particular person. Any one of these guys can get hot anytime and get hot. And so we have to be able to control the tempo of the game, limit our turnovers because they will get after you defensively, and just try to play a smart game.
Okay. Coach, give us a scouting report on the Indy.
And I have to go back and talk about one other player.
Okay.
We have Zach Schrader, I almost forgot, who is our wing player also, who he's one of the starters who Coach is talking about as well. So as we're preparing for them, they are a well-balanced team. He has a very tough team to play at times because they're able to play slower tempo and up-tempo both. Mm-hmm. And as you're preparing to play for him, he has kids who have control and have a good balance in his players. Mm-hmm. So he has a good mixture of outside shooters and as well as some post-up kids, and very, very disciplined team to play against. So, you know, you can't make mistakes against them as well. You know, you have to be poised and pick the times you do apply a lot of pressure, because if you mess up on where you apply the pressure, they'll make you pay on the other end with a layup. So we're still working extremely hard to try to master how to apply pressure and when to back up and be in position right now.
Okay. Yeah. You guys have already played once as far as that. How did that come up, Coach Glass?
Well, we were able to get the win at our place. I was, you know, knowing what type of coach that Coach Crutcher is and how he prepares his team, I was actually surprised at the outcome of the game. I thought we played one of our better games of the year, and you know, we had started to make a turnaround for the better as a program, and the kids finally started to get the cohesiveness that we've been looking for. So I was pleased with that outcome the last time we played. But you know, when you go to Centennial, you can expect a drag-out, hard-fought game. It's not going to be easy. Their student section is great. They're right there on the floor, and their home crowd is really, really great. So I look forward to our team going to that type of atmosphere and competing.
Was that first game in the 50s? Or
I believe the first game was maybe in the 50s. Yeah, probably the mid 50s or so, mid to high 50s.
High 50s.
High 50s. Coach Crutcher, do you want to see one in the 70s tonight?
Well, I don't know if we have enough firepower to keep it and get it to the 70s, you know. But
it sounds like now he's talking about pressure. You're going to pressure the ball from the time they throw it in all the way down the court.
Well, we like to apply pressure, but we have to score once you receive the ball from the pressure. So, you know, we have to be able to finish plays and execute. You know, like I said, those guys, they were well prepared last time we played them. They came out ready to play, and we have to match the enthusiasm in which they play and the attitude in which they play each and every play of the game. And that's going to be the big part of the outcome, is matching fire with fire.
Right. Well, Coach, let's talk a little bit about how much or how many kids you got that are multi-sport type kids on your team.
As far as multi-sport, honestly, this year we actually have more kids that are just dedicated to basketball. I have Finest Stribling, who's a 3-sport athlete. Pierre Watkins, he also plays football. Colin Stribling, another football player. I'd say probably about 85, 90% of my program, the kids are dedicated to just basketball, with the exception of maybe about 4 kids. Young program, we got about 80% freshmen and sophomores. 1 junior and 4 seniors. So our future is bright. The kids, you know, they really work hard each day from the summer on up to now. They really have bought into what we're trying to teach them to do. So far, we're loving the results at the freshman level, at the JV level, and probably within the last 7 or 8 games as far as the varsity level as well.
Coach Crutcher, for you to win tonight, who has to play well for you?
We have to have a great outing by Tyrell Dyson, Kevon Prince, Josh Keller, really everybody for us to win. We have to have a good production from each kid, whether it's just sound defense, don't always have to be scoring, just playing good minutes. When they get in the game, everybody has to come in and step up and play good minutes. Zach Schrader, he has to shoot the ball well and do the things he's been able to do. So we're going to have to finish and complete with just making good plays and limit our turnovers. Okay.
Well, coaches, thank you for joining us, and best of luck tonight. I know the district tournament's not far away. It's at Centennial. You guys start up right after the girls' game, so I'm sure there's going to be a big crowd there tonight. Thank you for joining us for the second half of today's show. Tonight's game is at Centennial High School. Girls start at 6. Boys will shortly follow thereafter. I'm Jack Daniels, your host.